Welcome everybody to round 11 of the International Racing League's third season, and we're at the Losail International Raceway for the Qatar Grand Prix, brought to you here by the league. And it is going to be a fantastic night race here. We have, as far as our driver standings are concerned, the unbeaten Merckx for races he has competed in is in first position on 193, but Ricky Maru, thanks to his recent holiday, has closed the gap to 176 to place 193. Milan some way back on 118 with ARL on 115 in fourth place. In fifth is double world champion the Maestro Moist on 98 points at the moment. In sixth is Ollie on 75. We have Speedy Spud on seventh place with 71 points. Alpha Alex has eighth with 55. Leon ninth with 39. And Marco is in 10th with 27 points. In 11th place is Sticky on 25. We have a joint 12th place for Davey and Atsu, with Floyd Plink in 14th, only on 17 points, 1 point away from 12th. Then comes in 15th, Jaffa Jake on 12 points. In 16th place, Dobo has 7, Chuck Norris has 5, Triple Bay has 2, and the remaining drivers have yet to score. In the Constructors' Championship, I will wait for my Discord to load up for the Constructors' Championship, and we'll be there for you in just a second. Let's get everything organised for you and wait to see if ARL makes it out first on the race for qualifying. Still waiting on my Discord to load up. Seemingly dead. I don't have constructors for you right now. I will do my best to try and get them for you. But suffice to say, I'm sure that our VCARB will be leading the championship right now. Good evening to Atsu, Respond, and ARL, and everybody else joining us today. It's great to have you with us. Looks like we're going to outperform the drivers with the audience, as it should be, of course. ARL is definitely the first one out there. He knows what's up. He knows where it's at in terms of getting out onto the circuit first. And unfortunately, my constructor standings just simply will not work. The bright colours of the Losail Raceway here as we finish out Sector 1 for the outlap for ARL. There's no mistaking where you are. Yes, the colours sometimes are reminiscent of Miami, sometimes reminiscent of Bahrain, but a track with it very much its own character here. And a really interesting and intriguing race in prospect for you. Atsu cheering on both Ricky and Merckx, which is interesting to see. Looking for a good showdown between the great championship rivals here. What part will ARL have to play in proceedings? Will he put enough fuel in the car, I wonder? And how will Respond do with us here tonight? We also have Bjorn joining us. We have Ginster as well joining us for the first time, alongside season regulars, of course, Speedy Spud, Floyd Pink, and I think I've mentioned everybody now. Let's ride on board then with ARL as we head down the long run to turn 1, and fairly open third gear corner should be. Well, we're going to run fourth gear for ARL. He usually runs a gear lower than most. Into turn 2, kind of the mirror image of turn 1, essentially. And now we're into the flat-out turn 3, building the speed up to the all-familiar right-hand turn of turn 4. Very similar to many of the Tilcodromes, but it's a double right-hander into 4 and 5. Then we switch back to the hairpin of turn 6, but quite a short straight leading up to that hairpin. We run through then towards the Yahoo switchback section of 7 first, and then building the speed into turn 8. Little snap on the exit at turn 7, through to turn 9. Here, excuse me, that's turn 10. 11 is just a simple traction zone with another long run before we hit a triple right-hander, turns 12, 13, and into turn 14, just lining the car up perfectly. The kink of turn 15, where Respond is planning to try and hold his breath throughout the course of the race, and then into the final corner, turn 16, before finding our way slowly but surely out of the circuit. looking for a really good run. That's a 122.636 for him. Quickly and swiftly beaten by Moist out there on a 21.7. How is Merck doing? Well, he's playing it cool as usual. This is Ricky Maru, second in a championship, multiple race winner, including most recently. Then we have Ricky Maru in on a 21.276, 0.5 of a second ahead of the Maestro Moist. And we'll join Merck the Merciless through the majority of his first bid here. Uncharacteristically out early is Merck. We have seen him before make a mistake on his early few laps, but I think this one's still worth pursuing for him despite that big snap on the way out of turn 4 and 5. This is turn 7 before we try and use the high downforce, high speed corners. Decreasing radius of turn 10. And then it's all about trying to maximise this run as the cars in front get well out of the way, causing yellow flags, but no real concern for Merck. Great turn in to turn 14 he got. Turn 15, big slide. But it's hard to tell whether that's planned or unplanned with the F124 handling characteristic. Out of turn 16, looked like it's on rails for Merck. Will this one be a quick lap? Well, it's slower than Moist, but only by 0.03 of a second. He slots into third position ahead of Bjorn, and ARL deposed down to 5th place. Still waiting on laps from Speedy Spud and Respond. This is Respond on his outlap. Spud waiting in the pits. Ginster has put in a 123.524. We do hope, I think, that our guests here tonight, our reserves and our guest drivers, don't interfere with the championship. This is round 11 of 16. So we do want to make sure that our drivers get a fair crack of the whip when it comes to their championship positions. ARL has left the session. Hopefully can find his way back in and has set a 5th fastest time at the moment. So we do hope that ARL will rejoin us as Respond trying to get a good response from his car. This is the turn 15 he hates so much. And we build up to the first flying lap then for him. It is Ricky Maru from Moist from Merck after the first runs. And we're going to get underway then for Respond and see if he can't put in a good first banker lap, the all-important early banker lap, while the track is still fairly slow. Good to get something you can build on with confidence in your first run. 11 minutes to go in the qualifying session tonight. This is Respond 30.8 in the first sector. Very obviously a clear night here in Qatar. Expecting dry conditions at the moment anyway. This is turn 10 and through 11. Long looping turn 11 before the triple right-hander. Similar to a number of new circuits out there, if with a bigger delay into the third turn-in point. Is turn 15, attacking hard. ARL saying his service provider has let him down. Into the final corner, maybe half a metre from the apex, the ideal apex for Respond, but does that still mean he gets a good power out? It's a 122.9, puts him out into 7th position provisionally. We've got Speedy Spud out on his first outlap and about to start his first flying lap. Moist is on an outlap as well, out there early on. Ricky saying that the VCARB team has had their pit entry training this time. We don't want any repeats of the double pit lane entry penalties they suffered in the Algarve on the previous race. Here is Spud. First flying lap for Spud. Target a sub 30-second first sector, if you can, climbing all over the apex of the turn 5 into 6. 30.5 his first sector, so that puts him slightly ahead of Respond, but I don't think he's going to set the world alight. So let's join with Moist in second place, as he is looking for half a second from Ricky Maru. Moist heading down, that's 30.3, gain of 65 thousandths of a second, and a purple first sector on target here. Looks like Ricky got a great second and third sector then. Moist closing in on the end of the second sector, and he is nearly 2 tenths faster, but needs to find 3 to get on par with Moist, with Ricky Maru, excuse me, very wide out, and loses the lap there, and that's not great for him, because it means, of course, that he can't have another run on this set of tyres. Floyd Pink from 6th place, now looking to finish out a lap and try and lift himself from 6th place at the moment, and he does so up to 5th, overtakes ARL, who is bemoaning his service provider's service right now, I should say. Here we are on board with Ricky Maru then on his second lap, trying to extend his lead because he's expecting Merck to go quicker. He knows Moist on his second run has put the pressure on himself to improve on his final lap. I imagine final. They might get 4 runs in total, especially if they're early like Moist. I know ARL won't. Hopefully we will see ARL come back to us. Respond not enjoying that first lap, but I think probably feeling like he can build on it. So, unremarkable first sector from Ricky. But we know the speed advantage he had over Moist was in this second and in the third sector in particular. Really long corner, that turn 10, at the halfway point of the track. As we run in, this is a slow just build lap for Ricky. Is Merck actually pushing? I think so. Nearly 4 tenths faster through sector 1 for Merck. And he's looking for a decent amount of time. He needs 8 tenths. Sorry, 1.2 seconds he needs to try and get on board here. So he's found half of what he needs through the second sector of the second run. Incredible turn-in he's getting in that third part of the triple right-hander. Final corner coming up for Merck. He was just over 6 tenths faster in 2 sectors alone. Can he get on board here and straight into pole position with an 0.8 of a second faster time of 1:20.991? Will we see the other drivers actually be able to challenge here? Ricky is slightly slower in sector 1 of his proper push lap now. He's saving that charge for pretty much the long run, the long start-finish straight, I think, and maybe a little bit out of this corner here. Floyd Pink has retired from the session. That's unusual, but maybe fancies a longer break. That is Ricky Maru with a strong middle sector. He needs to now find nearly 3 tenths of a second on Merck. 1 corner to go for Ricky and 5 minutes in the session. Moist out on a push lap, and Ricky's not happy with that exit. Comes in hoping to find enough time, and that is Bjorn going sideways in the Alpine. We don't see that very often. Car going sideways, but getting well out of the way of the Mercedes of Respond coming through. For his lap, he is 3 tenths of a second better in the first sector. Hopefully that drift from the Alpine didn't catch Respond out too much. We've got Moist on a lap as well. Respond hoping for more. And finding 4/10 right now. So on target to lift a place or two even. Maybe get up into the top 4 if he can monster this final 2 turns. So far, turn 15 proving fairly good for Respond. Maybe he's taking that extra bit of caution. And up to 6th place he goes, nearly half a second better than he's been before. Moist has invalidated this lap. I imagine coming through to build on another lap here and go for a push lap. Speedy Spud up to 4th place right now in the Haas. Floyd, you can tell us what's going on with your early retirement from the session. Did you feel you maxed your performance? Moist is in 3rd, but good to have you in the live chat as well. And ARL down in 8th, and I think running Ghosted, but maybe not. Hopefully he's on his way back in. Floyd is saying that Spud had a good race in Qatar last night. Excellent. So that's kind of explaining why he is where he is at the moment. Where is Spud? Coming into the pits, we just have Respond on track as the cars wait and the drivers wait now for the final runs. Certainly very sandy, dusty Mercedes here for Respond. I don't know if he's been off in the gravel or just followed other people's offs. ARL struggling here to rejoin and get his timing screens back. And Floyd is saying that he's struggling to get the ERS use in the race down right. We've got Ginster on track. Wes has joined right at the end of the session to put in a lap, so he was very keen to join, I know. So good to have Wes join us in the McLaren tonight. Lots of our regular season drivers just letting us down tonight, which has been really disappointing. I don't know if we need to look at sanctions for last minute changes, perhaps, to attendance. But it's kind of plagued us this week a little bit. All the main leaders out on outlaps at the moment, just waiting for Ginster to start his lap. But it looks like it's Ricky Maru out first, followed by Merkt, and then Moist will be the order. So we'll join Ginster for a bit. ARL just saying he's not thinking straight now. Get it together, my friend, and do your best. I'm sure you are going to try and do whatever you can. Just check out where Ricky is. Still coming through, just starting the 3rd sector of his outlap. And then we'll just be reading to see whether he's using his boost or not. This is Ginster in 9th place at the moment. And Floyd is quite happy to hear that ARL is struggling. Very sporting of Floydie there. He's showing the love and the jokes as well. So Ginster on the 1st sector. Let's see if Ricky is pushing. Certainly using the boost. So looks like this is a push lap for Ricky. Or at least he'll make a decision that it will be. It's 33 seconds, massive drift through turn 2. That could be all she wrote for this lap for Ricky. In fact, I'm pretty sure it's going to be. Let's wait for the sector update. But yeah, he's really struggling with oversteer. 1.5 tenths down. So it's not working out for him. Let's see about Merkt. And an invalidation for Merkt. So we have an open goal as far as pole position is concerned. If Moist would have to find a hell of a lot of time here. 8 tenths of a second, but the track couldn't be better for him. Where is Spud on track? He's coming out to close out his sector. Moist, 1 tenth of a second to the good. 5 tenths will get him on the front row total. As we'll just check out where Spud is. And we can't get an update on Spud now. He's nearly 2/10 of a second up. Moist has a purple middle sector, so saving the tyres for that middle sector of the race, of the qualifying, I should say. In we go into the penultimate corner, turn 15. And now just one to go for Moist. What can we get out of this one? Can we get ourselves onto the front row, or are we stuck in third? It is third place for Moist with the checkered flag. Bjorn has gone faster and deposed Spud, but Spud looks to be on a good lap here, nearly 4/10 of a second faster than he's been before. So trying to lift himself up, but he needs to find an extra 10th or 2 in this final sector to get that 4th place back, let alone try and get into third. Let's see as we click open the DRS, drain the battery, and he found 3/10, but not enough. Speedy Spud in 6th place. ARL finally, though, gets up to 4th place for the championship leading VCARB team. That was an impressive outcome for ARL, and he's finally managing to start the race right at the near the head of the field. Those Constructors' Championship positions, 291 for VCARB, Sauber 211, Williams and Aston Martin both have 125 points. Haas have 110, McLaren 100, Ferrari 55, Alpine 30, Red Bull 22, and Mercedes only 2 so far. So we'll take you through those qualifying standings, and then we will take, I think, our customary few-minute break. 4th place for ARL, having a disconnection in the middle of qualifying. Big mechanical problem for him. But here we have Merckx back on top by over a quarter of a second from Ricky Maru in 2nd place. Our double world champion Moist is in 3rd on 4/10 of a second away, with ARL in 4th and then newcomer Bjorn in 5th. We have Speedy Spud and Ginster in 6th and 7th. Respond in 8th place, probably hoping for more, I would have thought. Floyd Pink down in 9th, having retired early from the session, and Wes not registering a time, but will presumably join us for the start. Okay, it's time for the Qatar Grand Prix, round 11 of the championship. And it's drop the clutch and go, go, go. Merckx and Ricky Maru looking fairly even away from the start, but Moist jumping Ricky Maru straight away up into 2nd place. We've also got the Alpine of Bjorn challenging the 3rd place Ricky Maru now, and looking down the inside into turn 2. That's the favoured position, but if Ricky can hang on around the outside, he can't quite respond. Is all the way up to P5 as well with a great start. ARL down to 7th. It wouldn't be a VCARB race if there weren't dramas away from the start of the race, and things weren't exactly going to plan either in qualifying or in the race. It looks like medium to hard tyre or medium hard. A high deg run as Floyd Pink gets a little bit crossed up coming out of the final out of that previous corner, but Merckx is away well. Bjorn is now in 3rd position, and Ricky Maru, championship rival, is fighting hard. Not least, we've got Spud and Respond side by side heading into the left-hander, and Spud getting his 6th place back again, but Respond all over the back of him and not happy to give it up. Through into the triple right-hander. If you follow very closely behind through here, you're going to understeer of a super wide, and Respond does exactly that. As I speak, he goes into his dreaded turn 15 now, and he's really struggling with understeer, picking up, I imagine, track warnings. But there is the double world champion Moist chasing down the merciless Merckx for the lead of the race as we head into lap 2 of 29, and Moist is definitely within striking distance at this point. The Alpine guest driver is right there as Respond has a little half-hearted look down the inside, doesn't quite get the overlap, and Spud isn't defending too hard at the moment. Let's have a look at tyre choices. Well, position change first of all. We go up 2 for Respond total, but he was higher than that. Bjorn has gone up 2 as well, and Ricky, the big loser from the front, but ARL down 3, and things not going to plan here for the team, but they have both got the hard tyres on, so running the hard tyre early and taking the early pain here on the strategy. Speedy Spud and Respond continue this fantastic battle between the two of them, just in the mirrors of Ricky Maru at the moment, who doesn't need to let the leaders get away. There is already a 2-second gap built up between the Maestro, and Bjorn in second and third positions. And it is a very busy midfield here as the tyres, those hard tyres, still probably struggling and screaming for mercy through that triple right-hander as they run through it right now. But suddenly Ricky Maru looking like he's lit the touch paper on the V-carb and he's ready to go racing. He does not know exactly how Bjorn races, though. That is certainly going to be an interesting one for him to interesting factor here. He's going to put a lot of faith in Bjorn, who steers to the right to block any potential move, but Ricky straight through using the DRS, and he'll breathe a sigh of relief through past a relative rookie here on the league. I know nothing about Bjorn. He may be a seasoned racer for all I know, but Moist is right in the wheel tracks then of Merckx on the same tyre strategy. Ricky looking pretty good on hard tyres at the moment. Looks like Merckx has spent a little bit of ERS already. I can't comment on the actual levels. I know Respond wants me to, but I'm not even looking at them. But I can see the red light flashing, so certainly in a harvesting mode for Merckx, as Moist is just half a second behind. But I think fairly content to ride there at the moment. But it's Bjorn trying to get that position back off Ricky Maru. And in this middle sector, Ricky is going to struggle mightily on those hard tyres still. But it's Bjorn who picks up a little bit of tyre smoke coming through. The slowest corner on the second slowest corner on the circuit, and that gap dropping down now. Bjorn right behind Ricky as he looks to try and combat any dirty air understeer through the faster corners. Through turn 15 we go. Looks like Ricky's still adjusting the car slightly on turn exit, and it will be the exit out of this corner where his momentum will be curtailed. And here we have the DRS open, but the ERS was already looking great. He dodges left, does Bjorn, and straight into that third position. Speedy Spud is going to go for a double. Speedy Spud down the inside. Can he possibly hold it? But he is going to settle for a single overtake. But a great work and use of the double DRS and double slipstream from Speedy Spud, moving his way up to fourth position now. And looks like the practice race last night worked out really well for Spud. Ricky down to fifth, but the lead car on the hard tyre. Just his teammate also on that tyre, so they're going to have to be careful of pit stop procedure. Ricky getting oversteer, and it looked like Speedy Spud getting understeer through the next couple corners. And running through as they do. Merckx is 0.6 of a second ahead of Moist. Then it is all about this battle for third position, led by Bjorn de Boer at the moment, with Speedy Spud in fourth and Ricky Maru in fifth. We have in sixth place ARL. Ginster's up in seventh. Alpine qualifying poorly, racing well at the start of this race, and then Respond in eighth. And the Red Bull of Floyd Pink down in ninth position, just biding his time, I'm sure, Jessica, with Wes down in 10th in the McLaren right now. But it's all action in the midfield right now. You can just see Moist and Merckx at the head of the field. Moist just biding his time, waiting in the DRS, I think, just showing himself in the mirrors. Ricky trying to do back to these guys what they did to him on the straight, and Spud trying to get that third position here and fully alongside. He'll sweep around the outside. He'll get the inside line if he can hold on. He just transgresses track limits. Maybe, does he? Just to the outside. And this should help him then run through the double right-hander of turns 5 and 6. And holds on and has that third position. But a great patient build to that pass for Speedy Spud. But of course, now the drivers behind him will have the DRS advantage running through the next few corners. It is Bjorn in fourth place behind Speedy Spud now, and really they could do with some DRS coming out of the next corner, couldn't they, all the way to that triple right-hander, just to regain a little bit. Looks like Liberty did not bring enough. Wow, what a tremendous move for Bjorn around the outside in towards turns 12, 13 and 14. Brilliant stuff around the outside. He's really using that ERS very well out of the corners. Can really plant that throttle early on those medium tyres. Ricky drifting away from the lead. Where is that lead now currently for Ricky? It's out to 7 seconds, which is kind of crazy when you think about it. Here then is Speedy Spud going the long way around the outside. Ricky's going to try and do the same thing, but Ricky didn't have the gap on the Alpine. And then we have the Haas making his move back into P3 after starting the previous lap in the same position, same manoeuvre. But it did look like Bjorn has got some great grip in the second sector of this racetrack. Ricky's right on his tail though now. Respond picks up our first penalty of the day. Unfortunately, Marco's not here to do that for us. So Respond taking that all-important mantle. Speedy Spud, 6.4 from the lead. Just a 0.3 of a second gap back behind him. And similar gap further back to Ricky Maru as well. 0.6 of a second max, separating third and fifth total. And it looks like no similar move coming from Bjorn de Boer this time round. I imagine he spent a fair bit of ERS on the straight leading, well, the flat out sections leading up to turn 12 on the previous lap. It does look like he's having to harvest this lap now, so Ricky might have an advantage, but he does take a large exit. Big snap from Bjorn. This is advantage to Ricky as we draw alongside. Neither of them got the best traction out of the previous corner. Spud goes defensive. Ricky going for the out to the in move. The old switcheroo, as it were. And round the outside we brave it. We get close, we touch. Wes picks up a penalty, but there was definitely a touch between Ricky and Bjorn. But Ricky held on and gains his place back to fourth place now. And it's all important to him how far away Merck gets. He really can't afford to have Merck ever outscore him in this run into the finale of the championship in a few weeks' time. Round 11 today, 16 total. So the bulk of the championship has passed Ricky with a fairly significant deficit. But Merck has been unbeaten in races he's competed. So it's certainly in Grand Prix anyway. Hasn't always won the sprint, but in the Grand Prix he has been absolutely peerless so far. Ricky is only 1/10 of a second away at times from Speedy Spud. And on those hard tyres, I think the mediums are just starting to get into the crossover point where the hards are the better tyre to be on. Respond with another penalty. Said he's never practiced the track so much before making his debut today. Here comes Ricky then with the DRS. Nice simple pass for him. Looks like from behind. It doesn't look like Bjorn has quite got the pace at the moment. He was clearly using his ERS a lot on the previous few laps. So I think having to harvest now, and Ricky can start building that speed now that he's got the better tyres. 6.6 seconds forward to Moist. We'll keep an eye on that. It's lap 8 of 29. Merck leads Moist now by 2 clear seconds with Ricky Maru in third and Speedy Spud in that fourth place. Bjorn is in fifth and ARL in sixth, also on the hard tyres and starting to catch this group again after a slightly problem-filled first phase of the race for the VCARB team. Hopefully for them, it's going to start getting better here as it looks like ARL is closing that gap down. Might be within DRS by the time they get through to the detection point on the lead up. I think it is to turn 16. Wes debuting with us here, just getting used to the rigors of racing and driving the very popular McLaren car in league racing. ARL has caught to within the DRS zone. That looks like Speedy Spud running wide on the exit of turn 16. Ricky with the fastest lap now that he's finally got clear, and it's 6 seconds flat, the lead. This is now Bjorn having a look, but but ARL closing in from behind. I fancy ARL and Ricky both being on the podium tonight if they can make this strategy work, but they've got lots of ground to catch up. They might be able to do a hard to soft run, but they have been working those tyres hard. Further back, we've got Ginster catching Respond here. Respond wearing at least 2 sets of penalties, so +6, I think. It's just confirmed +9 for Respond at the moment. Sorry, Respond. But Ginster catching quickly. Bjorn is right on Spud's tail again, though. Don't want to miss another ding-dong between these two. And we've got Speedy Spud in that 4th place. Lap 9 of 29, nearing the 1/3 distance. Will the medium tyres give up? Or will it get through to the halfway point, I wonder? Regardless, those V-carbs are going to be quick at the end. Regardless of whether they can switch to the medium or even possibly the soft tyres. But it's a matter of how much pain they take on the hards after the crossover as to whether they fancy those soft tyres. Ricky has caught by 0.3 of a second. Here is Bjorn then catching DRS and simple pass, and looks like ARL is going to make the double. Can he do it? ARL with a double move to the inside. He's got to go slower at the apex. Looks like can't quite make the overlap and almost gets tagged there by Speedy Spud, who lost 2 places going down the straight. That was really unfortunate for Speedy Spud, but unfortunately that's how it works out sometimes with the double toe. But certainly ARL up to 5th place now and driving well. I have to say, Bjorn driving incredibly well as well. Really, really good to see. Thanks, Jessica. Appreciate it. Do my best. But we've got ARL in 5th place. Now needing to just make this lap really count. Merck leads by now 4 seconds from Moist. Merck has really dropped the hammer, but is Moist running long on this stint, as he often does. Tends to go really conservative, Moist, and go for those long run. Jessica says you want to see me race. No one wants to see me race, Jessica. Believe me. Unless it's there for the banter, I am hopeless. Into the pits comes Speedy Spud. That's the first scheduled pit stop we have seen. So that is huge, as ARL now finally passes the Alpine as well. Great to see. Well, Jessica, I am competing in a hot lap tournament at the moment with a hope of making a special event for V-Box Motorsport. So you'll find it's 4 different sims in 4 weeks. You'll find my first attempt on my channel this week, and I am desperately in need of assistance as to how to get better and fast, because I've got to try and make the top 15 to make the special event. Bjorn de Boer is in 5th place, just behind ARL and holding on here. Ricky is catching. I think he's now taken 1.5 seconds out of Moist here, but not really eating into Merck's lead. That's Bjorn then in that 5th place. Respond in 6th place. Some 9 seconds behind this group, plus 9 as well on the kart. Wes is in the pits, waiting to shed those medium tyres. There we are, new hards for Speedy Spud, Floyd Pink and Wes. And then the medium runners desperate to extend if they can and minimise their time on the hard tyre if at all possible. It is way too early for anything other than the medium tyre to be fitted, the hard tyre to be fitted at this stage. If we're one stopping, Bjorn comes in, ARL is on his own, and he and Ricky can now do their bid for the podium if at all possible. Gap to leader, 9 seconds for Ricky, 13.6 for Merck. That could be a lot worse than it is at the moment. Respond has gone long on his pit strategy, so he's now in 5th place. But as I say, plus that all-important gap, plus the penalties that he's wearing. And I will stop mentioning it because I'm sure it's getting annoying for him. But those are your tyre differences at the moment. Let's put you back to interval until we get pit stops at the head of the field. Merck and Moist are definitely delaying here. I'm really surprised by Moist's lack of ability to stay with Merck tonight. Merck is disappearing once again. Merck the Merciless, unbeaten in Grand Prix this season, when he has blessed us with his presence. He has been almighty. Merck 6.3 seconds to the good, waiting for a pit stop that still hasn't come at the end of lap 12 for him. Will Moist come in? No. So Moist running long as well. One thing that they won't be fully aware of is where ARL is in relation to them. We'll wait and have a look at Speedy Spud here, who's just had Bjorn come out of the pits in front of him. So they resume their battle, but now for 7th place before the pit stops ahead of them. The highest placed cars that have pitted, as they are, but a decent chunk away from the lead at this stage. Jess cheering on Floyd up to Moist. This is Speedy Spud then with the DRS, just slightly too far back. Needs a little bit of ERS on the exit of the corner as well to make that move work. Ricky has caught Moist, and it's now 3 seconds, Ricky to Moist, for 2nd and 3rd positions. ARL 5 seconds further back, but certainly within that pit stop window. So it looks like Merckx and Moist will be coming out of the pits around Respond's position, maybe just behind Respond. Hard to say at this stage, but Spud is right behind Bjorn de Burt right now and waiting for that opportunity to make the pass. There's your pit stop for your leader. Merckx is in. Will Moist follow suit? Yes, indeed. So Moist on his way in too. That will promote Ricky Maru and ARL up to 1st and 2nd at this point. And if you think back to the Red Bull Ring and their run in Austria when they did a similar strategy, it looked like it was all going to come good for those two, running the hard tyre really long. And it's usually Moist's move to run the hard tyre from the start. Tonight, though, he's on the main strategy, with the option strategy going to Ricky Maru and to Merckx. But of course, they will now be pretty quick after a lap to bed in the tyres. It should be Merckx and Moist. Moist has come out behind Respond, Merckx just ahead. So that's going to hurt, as Moist now picks up a penalty, and that will be interesting for Ricky Maru, who will know that that gap is now even shorter than it appears on the racetrack. They still haven't stopped, though, remember, Ricky Maru and ARL. The question is, can they get as high as lap 20 on the hard tyres and potentially bring the soft tyres into play? I would have thought they would prefer to get to lap 21 if they can, but they've got to monitor those gaps to Merckx and to Moist wherever possible. So let's just check that out right now, because gap to leader, 14 seconds for Merckx, 21 seconds for Moist, plus 3 now as well. So 24 seconds, well outside of that all-important pit stop. I think the only move for VCarb to make here is to try and hang on and run the softs at the end and go super aggressive, but maybe they want to stem their losses and guarantee a 2-3 rather than try and go for the win here, although Ricky obviously has to try and beat Merckx and hope that Merckx makes a mistake. Moist has just passed Respond, who's pitted. So next up we have then Speedy Spud. How speedy is the Spud today? Well, he has got the DRS, but he's not willing to make the pass just yet at this stage. Ricky Maru leads ARL by 6 seconds, but both have yet to pit on lap 15 of 29. Merckx has the net lead of the race, 7 seconds now ahead of Moist, plus 3. And that is Floyd Pink and Respond coming out. Well, Respond coming out of the pits right in Floyd Pink's face. And that has got to be very frustrating. Red Bull versus Mercedes. And Floyd Pink trying to make the move. Respond really reluctant to give up the position while his tyres are cold. But he's going to have to force it. Smashes through a braking marker board there with understeer out onto the extreme edge of the circuit. But he's steadily building some speed here. He does, of course, have penalties on the car. And it's all about now the VCarb. How long can this hard stint go? Merckx gap to ARL, 6 seconds. I believe that was 8 a few moments ago. So it may be a hide into nothing regardless of the tyre that they fit. But they will be quicker at the end, or they certainly have a tyre advantage. That was Respond. Another penalty on Respond's car, and that's going to be frustrating to Floyd Pink to see a car kind of trying to hold on like this as Bjorn and Speedy Spud go side by side into turn 2. And we've seen how this circuit allows for that kind of racing. Great stuff between these two. Really, really cool to see. Merckx catching ARL fast. ARL holding the gap, really, within 7 seconds to Ricky. That was late on the brakes from Speedy Spud. Now, will we see the VCARB switch strategies or split the strategies potentially? We are at the halfway point. So if they wanted to run the medium, it's about now. That would be great. We don't want to go too long into the race and eat into the medium run and not be able to use the softs. So it's kind of no man's land soon as to what to do. You don't want to be caught between two strategies. At the moment, though, Speedy Spud hot on the tail of the Alpine. And these guys have given us some great, great runs. Merckx with a new fastest lap on the hard tyre. Ricky Maru pits now for the mediums. So Ricky has gone in. ARL and Merckx have moved up. Ricky will come out of the pits. This then is Speedy Spud passing the Alpine beautifully down the inside. And not much the Alpine is going to do about that, because that was a straightforward DRS pass. Can Speedy Spud finally rid himself of the Alpine and settle into the pace he wants to run, I wonder? Merckx in second place now with Ricky Maru out on mediums. His gap, some 13.5 seconds, maybe 14 seconds to Merckx. That is a big amount to overcome. Target, though, will be 2-3 for the VCARBs. That is the clear objective for them. And it does look like no. Speedy cannot shed beyond a Burt at this stage. Respond. Floiping has got past Respond, and Jessica's going to be screaming at me for missing that. I do apologise. There's a higher up battle happening. But Floiping has now got past on older hard tyres than Respond. He's managed to make the move. Respond wearing all the penalties in the world. And that looked like a little nibble at the rear of Speedy Spud from Bjorn de Bolt. So the Spud is being chipped away. Bjorn is 6th place here behind Speedy Spud. These are genuine positions now, thanks to the pit stops all having been done, with the exception of ARL. So I wonder where ARL is going to feed out. But this then, Bjorn de Boel's turn to use the DRS and make an easy old pass. It was a little bit more laboured, perhaps, than Spud's move was. Gap to leader. So this is crucial, really, for ARL. Does not want to come out behind P5 and 6, behind Bjorn and Speedy Spud, who have been locked in battle. But he's right on the bubble, and he can't know that information at this stage, I don't think. Let's go up and have a look at Merckx, who's right on ARL's tail. And that is going to be frustrating for both drivers, really, because ARL really needs to move on here. He's defending hard into turn 12, doing the favours here for his teammate wherever possible. Try and force Merckx into an error to go over track limits or just something to help with the team manoeuvre. Merckx just weaving around, showing himself in the mirrors. Is ARL headed to the pit lane? No. So Merckx will retake the lead using the DRS, I'm sure. ARL fighting hard, though, trying to do the job here for the team. But he's really trying to win 3rd place from Moist, I think. But he's still got that pit stop to make, and he's going to have to overtake, I think, Bjorn and Speedy Spud to get there to that 3rd place. So it's a big target for him. So a new leader is Merckx. Once again, Respond with another set of penalties. And remember that Strike Moist is wearing 3 seconds of penalties as well. So Ricky on the mediums, ARL yet to stop, and he's getting so close to being able to run those soft tyres, which he will need to overtake 2 or 3 cars in his hunt down for the podium here today. This is the gaps then out to the leader, but take 2 seconds off those because ARL is losing time hand over foot on the hard tyres. They must be in a horrible state right now for ARL. And there is Wes actually not being dropped. The only McLaren in the field who has been lapped is actually going slightly quicker here, I think, than ARL on the old hard tyres. We're about to close out lap 19. would ARL want to go for one more lap on the hards to guarantee the softs to an end? That looked like Merck has locked up into the final corner. No, into the pits comes ARL. And like I say, really important then where he feeds out. Your leader is Merck. I don't think there's going to be much that anyone's going to say about that win today. But ARL, I fear, is going to drop behind here. Bjorn and Spud. But let's wait and see. He's on his way out of his pit box, but they're both passing him right now. Here comes Speedy Spud to make another overtake with the DRS. Down to the inside, it's going to have to be done on the brakes. Yeah, ARL is miles behind right now. And, wow, Bjorn holds on around the outside of turn 1, claims the inside. That's another 3-second penalty for Moist. And if ARL is listening in, that will be fantastic for him to hear. +6 on Moist's time right now. Ricky Maru guaranteed second at this stage with 9 to go. But can he overhaul and try and catch Merck here? There's a big gap for him to feed into. Let's just check out what tyres ARL fitted. Oh, it's the medium, so he doesn't quite have the tyre advantage I was hoping for on the softs. But it will still be quick, and look out for potential fastest lap bid right now from him. Let's see if Floyd Pink is going to make an overtake on Respond, who has got back past him again, but is wearing 15 1.5-second penalties on the car. Floyd racing clean right now from penalties. Ginster likewise, so is ARL, Speedy Spud, Bjorn and Merkt. Oh, that's 3 seconds for Ricky. It's a late race 3-second penalty for Ricky Maru. And Merck just not really being challenged tonight once the race is in its second to third stint. It has been all she wrote for Merck. As soon as the drivers drop out of DRS, he is on another level. And you just got to sit back and enjoy it. This was Moist for 2 seasons, frankly. Certainly the bulk of 2 seasons. Moist was the king of International Racing League, but it looks like that crown is being passed to Merck, and everyone going to have to go and work harder to get faster. This is Bjorn then in 4th position, retaking the place back. Ricky Maru is right on Moist's tail here. Does Moist fancy fighting this, I wonder? We'll see them through the next few corners. I will try and make sure we see Floyd Pink as they put a lap on Wes. Oh, Floyd has just passed. Oh, dear. Oh, I do apologise. He's done it again, but not in the conventional position. Here is Ricky Maru. Moist fortuitously using the DRS from the back marker they just passed, unfortunately. So that has not worked for Ricky to make the pass. Respond has just dropped down. I think he's just run wide, and Ginster's gone through into 8th. So Respond having a bit of a scrappy lap 22. Floyd finally picks up his first penalty, so he joins the club. And the clean drivers list drops down further. Merck leads by 8.6 seconds. We have Ricky Maru chasing down the Moistro Moist for second place on the road, almost certainly second place on the grid. Here he comes with a big lockup though on the medium tyres for Ricky into turn 10, now through 11, which is not really a turn, and into the triple right-hander. The car will get unsettled through here. You can pick up a penalty very easily, and Moist will know that. So he'll hold on to this position as long as he can and hope that Ricky picks up another set of penalties. Speedy Spud on 6 points. Is that a pit stop from Moist? No, that's just running almost into the pit wall from Moist. Really swerving across, almost touching the pit wall to try and stop the tow, but looks like Ricky making his way through easily on the DRS. And we cut back to Speedy Spud trying to do the same thing once again onto Bjorn de Boer. So Ricky now second on the road, Deficit of 8.3 seconds. But unfortunately, only 6 laps to go. He has a tyre advantage on the medium tyre, but only 6 laps to go, and that advantage gets smaller and smaller. ARL is in 6th. Behind these two, just see him at the back of shot occasionally, but he would love to try and get that 3rd place, but it looks like it's going to be really difficult for him. Floyd Pink, 24 seconds off 6th place, but looks like a good set of points for Red Bull tonight if he can stay where he is, or if the drivers ahead of him pick up any further penalties. We have Merckx just about to start lap 24. There he goes. 5 to go for Merckx. That looks like we've got Moist just behind Ricky Maru still. The blue of VCARB looking even more similar to the Red Bull blue than the AlphaTauri did last season. But on the track map, that is. Again, we have a look at Speedy Spud versus the Alpine. Oh, wow, that was a very late move to the outside for Speedy Spud. He's trying to change it up here, trying to hold that inside line for turn 2. It's going to be difficult off the racing line. Grandstand's getting in the way of what would otherwise be a great shot. And Beyond a Ball holding on in 4th place. That was very well raced from both of them. And we're used to nothing less here at the International Racing League. Moist is only 0.6 of a second on the road away from Ricky Maru. And ARL is getting closer and closer to these two. But he's got a big job to do to try and close to the podium. If he can make the pass, though, past these two, although, of course, they'll be stuck in a DRS train, ARL may need to surprise the Haas or surprise whoever happens to be in 5th place when they get there in the middle part of the circuit where he's got a big tyre grip advantage. Potentially here into turn 12 if you've got enough ERS remaining. Let's have a quick sneaky look at ARL's ERS. Well, for those of you watching, that's the situation. I'm not going to read it out because that's unfair on the drivers to give knowledge away. But ARL very close now. We'll see what he can do with the DRS open. Little squirt of ERS perhaps. But it looks like it might be on for a double pass here again. Round we go to the inside. Looking like we've got great grip on the inside, but the Haas holding on. So it is ARL up just for the 1 position, but that coped really well out of turn 16. And now hot on the heels of Speedy Spud is ARL, trying to get that 4th place overall. All 3 drivers on screen. No penalties on the car so far for track limits. Diving towards the outside, trying to get a good exit out of the tight turn 10, and doing so is ARL. He's going to open the door, though, to a move from the Alpine on the inside. He's trying to make this stick, doing whatever he can. But, as I say, the wider you go on entry when you're the middle car, the more you're likely to open the door for the Alpine. So there's a limit to the tactics at your disposal. He will, of course, if he focuses on just harvesting and following this portion of the lap, he will have a good advantage with the first DRS profit on the car. But it's easy to say, tremendously difficult to do as they round the final corner, looking for that exit. It's got the great traction advantage as ARL. Here we go then, with the DRS open, going to the outside, making the move work. We've got the Alpine trying to make the move on the Haas as well, but that is now P4 on the road. P4 outright, but he has an 11-second deficit, including the penalties, to Moist. So it looks like ARL too long on the hard tyre to switch to the medium, and but I don't think we'll be unhappy with 4th position. Ricky settling into that 2nd place now and just building the gap. Needs to make sure it's clear and easy to Moist, so try and extend that out to 3 seconds if he can, and then he's got the delta he needs if he does trip over track limits accidentally. But still, Spud and Bjorn have been providing the entertainment tonight. 3 to go for our leader as he crosses the line now to start lap 27. Bjorn overtakes Speedy Spud once again, this time at an unusual position. I think that was using the ERS and getting a great exit out of turn 10 in the middle of the track, literally. And Bjorn then extending. He just would love that DRS on ARL's car, but he can't get it. So ARL has just inched away on this lap from the battle. So it's still going to be Spud versus Bjorn here. I don't think Spud's going to be within striking distance unless there's a mistake from Bjorn on this lap. Oh, Spud picks up a penalty, and that could be curtains for this battle after the flag. I do want to have a quick little cheeky look at Bjorn's warnings. Let's have a look. View lap times. Bjorn is on 2 warnings, so that is great to see. So they are still absolutely locked in battle, Bjorn and Speedy Spud. One more warning from Bjorn, and they're back on equal terms. Moist is pretty close here to Ricky Maru on the road. So Ricky not having the best lap previously, or maybe Moist having a prodigiously good lap on old tyres. It's more likely the former of those 2 alternatives. But Moist has got the DRS. He's going to try and force the issue here and try and make an error happen for Ricky. Try and make Ricky get desperate. Here he is, down the inside, Moist. Expert, clean overtake there on the brakes. Exactly what you want to see from a great double world champion. Coming back to some form at the late point of our season. And Ricky tries to find a way in behind, but he can't quite do it. The worst thing Ricky can do right now is give up further points to Merckx. This is about damage limitations and getting that second position if he can tonight, and living to fight another day. Merckx has a 7.6 second advantage, slightly flattered thanks to these guys now fighting as hard as they are. Ricky just wants to stay within the DRS zone, be patient about this, make the overtake on the final opportunity, the final batch of DRS, and be the hunter rather than the hunted through the final phase of the race. The final lap is about to begin for the leader. That was a big snap of oversteer from Moist, who's struggling on those hard tyres. Ricky should get away. He's got to the apex better in the final corner. He's got plenty of ERS to press and deploy, and that is nice and easy for him. And that's probably the last opportunity for Moist there. Done and dusted. Let's see, will it be the same situation for the 2 great rivals from the race, Spud and Bjorn de Boer? Spud is the hunter. Is that the place to be on this final run down the full length of the start-finish straight? Moist picks up a third penalty now. So that absolute slam dunks that finish position. Spud gets ahead and into 5th. Remember, 3 seconds on the car at the moment with penalties. So it could be all for nothing in the end, this battle between the 2 of them, as Moist then tries to pile the pressure on Ricky Maru. It's unlikely Ricky is going to get 2 further penalties. What on earth just went on there? Bjorn's gone through past Spud again. That's absolutely crazy. One of the few times we haven't watched these 2, and Bjorn manages to make an overtake. And not in a place I've seen him do already this race. This gap is closing between the 2. Merckx, the Merciless, continues his incredible run. This looks like win number 8 from Grand Prix attempt number 8. He wins the Qatar Grand Prix. Behind him, Ricky Maru comes through to take 2nd position, as he so often has done, with the double world champion in 3rd place, who was always there or thereabouts through the race. ARL has finally strung together a good qualifying and a solid race, and will pick up 4th position. Big slide on the way out of the final corner to close this one out. ARL takes home 4th. Not particularly impressed to thank the team, but Bjorn gets 5th on his debut with us. Speedy Spud in 6th, and we see I think, well, that was Respond taking the flag in 9th. So Floyd and Ginster will come through the final 2 corners, but we've got some pretty large field spread here. 10 starters, 10 finishers, with just Floyd, Pink and Ginster left to go. Both Respond and Wes were lapped, but put in great performances together nonetheless. This is Floyd weaving for the cameras, I'm sure. Ginster comes home in 8th, and that was it. ARL saying you had low fuel again, had to lift and coast. You've got to have a word with that refueler, that guy who's setting the fuel in the team. Ricky picks up driver of the day. I don't think it's going to be a good enough consolation prize to make him feel any better about being beaten by Merckx once again, and the familiar sight of both Merckx and the Union Jack on the podium here. Response says low fuel as well. Obviously this track we need to overfuel a little bit, guys, because it's not proving to be exactly what we'd hoped. But it's champagne time for Merckx, for Ricky Maru and the Maestro Moist. How about that for a podium full of quality? Tremendous stuff to see our top drivers make it all to the top. Provisional results are Merckx wins by a clear margin from Ricky Maru, who got the fastest lap in the end, so minimised that. In 3rd place, we have ARL in 4th with a good set of points there for the VCarb team. Bjorn finished ahead of Spiddy Spud, but those two provided the entertainment tonight, no doubt. Floyd Pink in 7th, Ginster in 8th, and Respond in 9th, with Wes finishing out. Respond says don't count his penalties. Fake news. Okay, no problem. Provisional results for you. I'll read out the championship standings as we start the next race, which will be, of course, next week. Same time, same place. From the International Racing League and from me, Webbo, thank you so much for everyone for liking the video, for being a valued and incredibly appreciated subscriber, and for tuning in and making tonight a fantastic race. Good to see you all. See you next week, and for now, I will catch you on the next race day.